Welcome back. Now joined by Gina Troisi, the author of The Angle of Flickering Light. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
So talk to me a little bit about the book.
Yeah, so The Angle of Flickering Light, it's a memoir, so it's my personal story. It largely focuses on my childhood, which was pretty difficult and traumatic in some ways. And my parents split up when I was little, about 5 years old, and my dad married his secretary, and together the two of them were really emotionally, verbally, and psychologically abusive. And so I grew up feeling pretty displaced and really searching for a sense of home and belonging. And it led me down some self-destructive paths, developed eating disorders as a kid, which is a big theme in the book, as well as addictions to drugs and alcohol during my teen years. And so I kept trying to kind of find my way out and get onto a better path for my life. And I would sort of repeat these difficult cycles again and again. So approaching young adulthood in my early 20s, my grandfather, who I was really close to, became terminally ill very suddenly and died pretty quickly in a matter of a couple of weeks. And that sort of sent me into what I would call rock bottom, where I became involved with a man who was addicted to heroin, who was a single parent, and it was just a really dark road for a little bit. So I think of the book as a story of hope and healing and inspiration, even though it deals with some difficult subject matter, thinking about how, as humans, we can kind of feel despair and loneliness and confusion and ultimately find our ways out of it.
And people who have been in similar situations, which, I mean, to read what you've been through and to be able to have the wherewithal to write it, I commend you for being able to put pen to paper and write this up. But what's been the reaction of people who have read it? What do you hope people take away from it who haven't read it? Yeah,
I really hope, as I do with all literature, that it can make other people feel less alone. Even if they've been in a totally different situation or circumstance, I think we can all kind of identify with those universal themes of like desire and wanting to belong and wanting to find a sense of home and wanting to be loved. So my hope is that it gives people some inspiration that they can persevere throughout what might seem like the darkest times, and that we're not as alone as we sometimes think or feel we are.
If people want to know more or to purchase the book, where should they go?
So I have a website. It's Gina-Troisi.com. So Gina-Troisi, as in Sam,
on the bottom of the screen there, yeah.
.com. Yeah, thank you. And it's available on Amazon, all the regular outlets, Barnes & Noble. You can get it at your local bookstore as well. Yeah.
So this is a memoir.
It is.
You've written another book, working on a third.
Yes.
What comes next for you?
So it's totally different. The book I'm working on next is a collection of linked short stories. So it's fiction. It revolves around one restaurant in a small New Hampshire mill town, and every character is sort of connected to the restaurant in some way. So, yeah. That's it.
And so a completely different subject matter. And what's number 3 you're writing now?
It's also a novel in stories. So in the same sense, it revolves around it's New England based, a small fishing town in Massachusetts. And it revolves around a small family who loses their son in a tragic car accident when he's only 17 years old. So it's similar to the second book in the sense that each chapter is told from a different point of view, and each character, the characters keep showing up, but they're all interlinked. So kind of in the spirit of like an Elizabeth Strout, Olive Kitteridge or something to that effect.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Thank you so much for coming through one more time. The Angle of Flickering Light is available now. You can get it on Gina's website. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for your time. There's the website one more time.